Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first Mignolaverse.com podcast, I guess, if that's what we're calling it. Whatever it's in the YouTube title is what we're calling it. So, I am Daniel LaPlante. You probably have seen my face a bazillion times right now. And you've also probably seen Alex's, who you did that the review thing of the Mezco figure. But I'm here with Alex. How do you pronounce your last name?
Well, do you want the real or do you want the American version?
Oh.
The one that they gave us at Ellis Island is Aronowicz, but the original is Aronowicz.
Oh,
Russian.
Wow. I like the original better.
Try saying it. Aronowicz.
Aronowicz, like that?
Aronowicz. I can't even say it.
Hey, man, you said it better than I did. We're just going to be kind of shooting the... Well, I can't swear in this because Kevin will yell at us.
Can we bleep? We can't just bleep.
We could swear. Bleep. Yeah, we'll bleep. Yeah, fuck it.
I'm from New York, man. Like, not swearing is very difficult for me.
It's torture. I'm just from Rhode Island, and it's still torture for me, so...
Yeah.
Swear like a sailor, literally, because everything over here is about the sea.
Yes, I do love Rhode Island.
Yeah, I like it. It exists, and it is a state.
Is that where Armageddon Shop is?
Where?
Is that in Providence? That's in Providence. Armageddon Shop. It's really cool underground and metal record store.
I don't know it actually, so I have to go check it out.
Yeah.
Unless maybe, it probably is in Providence. I just don't know it because there's so much crap in Providence.
Have you been to Lovecraft's grave?
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Okay. Just making sure. All right.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very well versed in my Lovecraftian stuff. You kind of have to be over here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll be very upset if you weren't.
Oh, yeah. I want to actually take part in Necronomicon at some point. I think Scott Alley was at Necronomicon last year, maybe?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think. So that was kind of cool, but I don't know. But yeah, we're just going to kind of go down like all the kind of current stuff that's happening. Very quick. Right. There's not a whole lot to say about it, but recently was Hellboy Day. I know you got to actually do a lot more than I did. You actually got to go see a bunch of stores and stuff. So it's just trying to see like anything cool you did, any notable experiences.
It's actually really fun. So I'm from New York, which is like, capital of the world sort of place. You think that being one of the biggest cities would have the biggest things going on. And so I went to Midtown Comics. I got there at 8 a.m. as it opened.
Right.
Me and my poor girlfriend, we were up at like 6:30 in the morning. We're like, we're going to do this. I want to beat all the lines. I want to be there. And we were the first ones in there. No lines. It actually stunk at Midtown, but we got all the swag.
Right.
Then after that, we went to Forbidden Planet, which was... They had a lot more sales and they had a lot of stuff going on. And they had something on their front door that on the Hellboy Day thing that said April 18th, something big is coming to Forbidden Planet. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
told them, I'm like, listen, call me. You tell me if tell me what's going on, because it was right with the Hellboy Day stuff. So I don't know what that is.
Oh, hopefully it might be like a signing or something like that. So that'd be pretty kick ass. Midtown, doesn't Midtown sometimes do like variant covers for Hellboy stuff that are like exclusive over there? I feel like I've heard, or I don't know, maybe I'm mixing up with some sort of I remember because I was going through and seeing what variant covers I have, because I have like a list of everything.
Right.
And I remember seeing a Midtown Comics variant on something for Hellboy, and I was like, God damn it. Anytime I see one of those covers. The only thing
David Mack ones? Was it that one?
Maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. See, like the only thing over in my area that gets like exclusive variant covers is like all the Hasbro stuff, because they have some exclusive Rhode Island covers.
Right. Hasbro's right there, right?
Yeah. So, but like I don't collect a lot of Transformers or anything like that. So, but it's cool to be able to tell and brag about that. But
yeah, no, you are. Listen, I am a toy collector, and as a toy collector, I know that is a little mini mecca.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's so cool. But yeah, I didn't get to do a whole lot on Hellboy Day. Like, I went over to my shop and I asked him, like, hey, do you guys have like the Hellboy Day stuff? And he's like, oh, and realized he forgot to put it out. And he just kind of went over and handed me some stuff. And I was like, all right, thank you. And then I went to my other store, which happened to have because they only had a couple of the things. They just had the Seed of Destruction and the pins. And then my other store had everything else.
Oh, well.
So I ended up getting everything, but
at least you got the whole set. I mean, I know that a lot of because I'm running the Instagram, Mignolaverse.com, the Instagram, and a lot of people, I think in foreign places like the Czech Republic, I think he doesn't have any comic stores near them, and
oh yeah,
so we were lucky to get a bunch of stuff.
I saw a lot of people like on Facebook and stuff just really bummed out that they didn't get anything, which stinks. But granted, like DC does like not Hellboy, does Batman Day and stuff like that, right. And I haven't seen anything for Batman Day anywhere. So we got more than Batman Day, which is kind of something to celebrate, I guess.
Yeah. Isn't today technically Batman Day?
Today?
Is it today?
I don't think so. Batman Day is the day his parents got killed, so I don't know what day.
Is that really what Batman Day is?
Yeah, it is. It's the day his parents got killed. Yeah, it's a terrible day to celebrate. But...
Oh, good. Yay!
Hooray!
I'm traumatized for life, and I don't get therapy. I just beat up poor people and the mentally ill.
Yeah, we celebrate Batman being sad. He can't be happy.
Oh my god.
Okay. Regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hellboy Day was cool, but like part of me also feels like, does Hellboy Day even come on a specific day like relevant to Hellboy? Or is it the anniversary of the first comic?
Seed of Destruction. Yeah.
Anniversary Seed?
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense then. I wasn't really sure. To me, it was just kind of like they made Hellboy Day a month before the movie.
I guess it just coincidentally worked out, and then they released the tickets to the movie that day.
Yeah, which was perfect. Even though I was very angry that my IMAX is not showing it, and I'm so sad.
Is there any nearby IMAX? I mean, like I have to go. There's nothing near me I live on the island, on Long Island, and I'm having to go into Manhattan just to see it.
I don't know, like, what the equivalent is of, like, I have to drive from lower Rhode Island, or I'm more like mid Rhode Island, to Boston, Massachusetts, which for a Rhode Islander is a very long drive, but for most other states is like driving from the lower state to mid state.
Well, yeah, that's like, for me, that's driving from one end of Queens to the other.
Yeah.
It takes me twice as long to get across Queens than it does for you to get across two states.
Yeah, right. Like, or for Rhode Islanders, it's very difficult to gauge time because Rhode Island is like the tiniest. Yeah. Rhode Island's just like a city to other states.
Yeah.
But it still stinks, and I'm very angry about it. I might still try to go there, though.
No, you should listen. You gotta give it the full experience. You know?
Oh yeah,
I'm really psyched.
Oh, it's more so that I have to drag my friends along with me, and I'm forcing them to do it.
Yeah, you got to drag some people. Listen, it's a road trip, man. Road trips are always awesome.
Oh yeah, they are. Especially when one of them is a psychotic Hellboy fan screaming at them about how excited he is for a movie, and they're like, it's pretty cool, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So he definitely, you got to go.
Yeah. Oh, I'm absolutely doing it. But yeah. But yeah, let's kind of move into the books that have been coming out recently. Everything's kind of ending right now, barring Hellboy and the B.P.R.D. kind of ended, but it still has one more issue that isn't actually 1956 coming out. It's just kind of random.
So was it like, is it a transitional, I guess?
I don't know, but it's with who was the artist on it again? Was it Duncan Fegredo who's doing the art on it? I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly, because I have read all of these names and never said them out loud.
The Beast of Vargu?
Yeah.
Thing? Yeah, that's him. That's him and Fegredo.
Yeah.
If I'm even saying that right.
So I don't even... that issue's going to kick ass, but I don't know, like, where it even fits in. It kind of feels to me almost like a like an original graphic novel sort of thing. Like it's not part of it.
I think it's canon. I mean, I guess we're going to find out though.
Oh,
But
it's canon for sure, but like I'm not sure like where it fits in time wise or anything like that. I'm
we
still
need
very
more
excited.
80s stuff.
Huh?
You know, we need more 80s stuff. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I hope they adapt the novels maybe graphically. That would be good. I know Neil Gaiman's done that a few times with
Oh
his
yeah,
stuff, so hopefully they adapt it. Because Christopher Golden, I mean, he did what did he do? Baltimore as well.
yeah. Baltimore is fantastic.
It's fantastic.
I haven't actually started on. I just bought the first hardcover of what's it called, Joe Golem, and now that that's all connected, like
Yeah, I have to start on that. I burned through Baltimore, but I have to get into Joel Golem.
yeah, Baltimore is just amazing.
Yeah, and
uh,
that was the backup plan. He said it was Joe Golem and Baltimore were his backup plan if Hellboy just fell apart.
yeah, uh, which is a great backup, honestly.
Yeah,
What was I saying? I just completely lost track of my.
I don't know. We
We were talking about
obsessed.
1956.
Oh yeah, the Vargu Beast of Vargu or Vardu. I don't have it in
Yeah,
front of me.
I so I don't know if that's being considered part of 1956 or not, but it's still technically going. It fits into like the slot of the last issue of 1956. I don't think it'll be finishing off the story we have going on, which kind of left 1956 ended very open-endedly. Like it didn't feel like a definitive ending to the arc. So I feel like 1957 is going to be very much so like a direct pickup or where we left off,
Right.
even though it's a
I mean,
different year.
I'm just thinking about. I mean, if we need to talk about 1956. I mean, I guess we're going to, right? But there's so many things in this last issue.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, let me pick up my issue right now. I got right next to me.
Yeah, I got the digital version here. I mean, so much happened in this last issue that I completely love.
Oh yeah, like I'm kind of far away from my mic right now, but here we go. Yeah, I adored this. Frankly, this is kind of I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite arc of Hellboy and the BPRD so far, but I kind of loved everything it did, like incorporating in. I was actually very skeptical about the Hellboy in Mexico stuff. I thought it was going to be like, remember Hellboy in Mexico? Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
But it actually took a really cool spin on it that I just did not see coming. Especially in this last issue, that was just fantastic.
This last issue with the movie,
Yeah,
with the oh my god, I was done. And the costume, his costume with the horns and the cape and the ears.
it's
I
just
was
perfect.
It's so funny.
It's
And even gave him fake eyebrows.
yeah, that's right.
It's ridiculous.
I also just love how I don't know, just something about how like there wasn't even much build up to it. It's just kind of he walked into a place and was like, I'm in the movie now.
Right. It's amazing.
It's just
drunk
incredible.
and he just piles into this place.
And then it automatically cuts to a really sad thing about him being sad about his dog and some Dia de los
no.
Muertos stuff.
This is that was a brutal opening to this arc. I was like, what?
And it perfectly encapsulates what I love most about Hellboy. Where I feel like this is the one thing that I always get pretty sad when like adaptations and stuff like that miss it. It's that Hellboy doesn't even really like being kind of a bulky monster person. He just is more human. And I feel like him being sad over a dog and everybody else kind of ignoring him is like the perfect representation of that. And I thought that was just like perfection right there. Especially since
if you think about it, like he's like, I guess he's not because he was born like what in like 1600s technically, but for all intents and purposes, he's like a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah, he really is. He grew up super fast and like, what year did he come out of the
44.
Portal? 44. Oh yeah, so he really is like, yeah, 12 years old basically.
Yeah, I mean I don't know how old he was mature wise when he showed up. Maybe he was like a 3-year-old. So that's why I said gave it like a 15, 16-year-old. But either way, he's like between 12 and 15 as far as like maturity, and he's dealing with this his dog dying in the most amazing way possible, because he's like, hey, I'm this big guy with hair, and people are just giving me alcohol because I'm this demon-looking guy. They don't think, hey, this is a kid. He's just like a 15-year-old getting wasted thinking about his dead dog. That's this whole book to me. It's so sad.
Yeah, and I also like how they didn't even really like that dog's been through all these books from the beginning. Like, and it's just been very subtle, and you don't realize how like that's been like an ongoing character this whole time, and you never realized how sad you'd be when you lost that dog until this book.
Right.
You never consider the fact that that dog's going to die because he's obviously never in any other Hellboy books, because that's in the mad future.
Right.
And so like when all of a sudden it cuts to that that dog's grave, I was just like, no.
Yeah. Oh man.
I yelled so loud.
It's amazing how traumatizing it could be. You're just like, oh yeah, he wants them to take care of his dog. Everyone's ignoring him. Oh wait, the dog is dead.
Yeah.
No.
Which is just, I don't know. I thought this is one of my favorite things I think that Robertson has written since he's been on Hellboy, or like any of the Hellboy books. Like, yeah. I don't know. I thought this just kind of demonstrated a full understanding of the character and everything.
It's definitely one of the more emotional.
Like, oh man, I just opened up my issue to that page with the oh man, I forgot he had like little catcher's mitt on it and everything. Oh,
yeah, the catcher's mitt.
Oh it's god. So which, by the way, like the artwork in this issue as well is just so fitting for it too. Like, I don't know. I
think it's crazy that they change artists.
Yeah.
For each, like, and it's in every issue of this that they change artists for each little A plot, B plot.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what the idea was behind that. Maybe they're just trying to save, like trying to take the load off the main artist and stuff like that. But like Oming's in this, who I'm a huge fan of Oming.
Oh yeah, ours.
Yeah. But and we also have, let's see, who else is in this? We got is Mike Norton the.
I feel like one of the artists only does one page. Page 22, Yishan Lee.
Yeah.
And then 20 is Mike Norton. And then I guess just page 21. It's only page 21 is all that Michael Avon Oming did.
Yeah, it's weird that, like, I love Oming, but they just kind of like threw him in here, which is so strange. They gave him all the Varvara stuff, which I'm totally okay with, because he just drew her so overly expressive. It's great.
That's right. He does all of the Russia stuff, I guess, in this whole arc.
Yeah, or at least the majority of it. It's so, I don't know. Oh yeah, in this last issue, in the very last issue, the last page is drawn by Yishan Lee. Yeah, that's so weird.
Just one page.
Yeah, I guess he was in charge of covering all the Susan Chang stuff.
Oh yeah, probably.
Which, oh my god! By the way, like that page, the big splash page where you open it up and it's just all the Devil You Know stuff happening. It's just like, whoa.
Which splash page? Which Devil You Know stuff? Oh, you're talking about in previous issue.
Is that the previous issue? Yes, in issue 4, whatever the middle page is.
all her like scene forward.
Yeah,
she's a great character.
I really like it.
I need to know what happens to her.
They have just so many questions showing up about her. And I'm really like now, I like how she's sort of the first character to really call into question Broom's relationship with Varvara. And now everybody's kind of starting to hate Broom a bit, which I think is perfect. And a little bit rightfully so. I like Broom, but he's kind of done some shady shit.
He really has, and it's like it kind of reminds me of how back in the day Professor X was the man. Yes, he's so benevolent and he's so great. He's doing all these great things, and then as later writers explore him, you find out what a dick he is. He is the worst. Now I'm not gonna say Broom's the worst, but he's made some really questionable choices,
Yeah.
very questionable choices. Some choices that, who knows, may have led to worse things happening. I mean, it could have been going that way anyways. But seriously, there's so much that he is probably indirectly responsible for when you think about this.
Right. Like, uh, it's just so interesting. I love going to books like this when coming. Like, I just watched Hellboy 1 and 2 again, and like Broom in those movies is just like golden heart, no faults whatsoever. And you go to this where Broom's like potentially like getting people killed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, his choices have gotten many people killed, and then
like Stenner, or is it Stenner, Steiner? I don't know how to pronounce his name.
it sucks because there was Stegner and Steiner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So one had a
exactly.
G, one had an I. So I'm trying to remember which one is which. I think Steiner's the one, the blonde one, and Stenner had the mustache.
Yeah.
All right.
And I actually like the character hasn't gotten to do a ton yet, but I feel like I don't know if he's been killed off yet or not. There was kind of a bit of question at the end, like where he was kind of gathered around by a bunch of soldiers. So I don't know if they like did something, but right now he's probably dead. That's kind of me just conspiracy theorying, because whenever a character in these books gets killed off, I'm immediately like, oh, they might be alive again.
They might be somewhere else.
That's my coping mechanism. That's I swear to God, for like a day after Kate Corrigan got killed off, I was like, but wait a second.
No, you don't. Oh, that's a tough spot for me to even talk about.
Yeah, I know.
And dude, the last 2-3 issues of when we start talking about Devil, those last 2-3 issues, I was like, what? Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah. I was expecting it to be a bloodbath, but boy,
Oh,
did it hit
yeah,
me.
yeah. Well, I wasn't really ready for how much of a bloodbath that was. That was absurd. But
Yeah.
back to 1956, since we're still in the past, I want to talk about this Mexico stuff again. This sad, sad thing with this dog. And that dog was drawn so well. It looks exactly like one of those border collies.
Oh
The
yeah,
eyes.
the one in the last bit, like the last third that comes to visit
Yeah,
him is
yeah. And
perfect.
he's like wanting his dog to reincarnate. I was like, oh, poor Hellboy. Have another tequila.
I know. It's cool. Like I'm so glad they incorporate all the Day of the Dead stuff too, with the dog coming back, because it's kind of just
Yeah,
perfect. I like kind of seeing Hellboy cope with his stress through a dog. It's just adorable. Well, not adorable. You get what I mean.
yeah. I
Uh,
mean, it's so human.
yeah, exactly.
So
Um,
human. He lost his one of his best friends. No one wants to talk to him about it because everyone's treating him like he's this full grown adult. And then he's got this dog that just comes up to him. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm drunk, and you're are you my dog?" Crazy.
yeah. Uh,
And
it's
then
just
when he gets back home, it's just him staring at this picture of his dog, and still no one wants to talk to him. Like, hey, you went on a bender for like however many months. You want to have a talk about it?
yeah. Even Broom's like, I'm not going to pretend to understand what happened with you, but I'm
Right,
glad you're back. But he doesn't even bother to like ask him. Like, I think
right.
that Hellboy just wants somebody to ask him about it, and nobody wants to.
Oh, and that next scene with Archie
Yeah.
and what's the heck's her name again?
Um.
Margaret.
Yeah.
Archie and Margaret Lane.
And then
I
Hellboy's like,
almost did a character right up on her, but yeah,
and Hellboy's like, how long have they been a couple? And Broom like doesn't even realize that they've been a couple.
right. And Broom probably has these harboring these feelings for her, and he's so oblivious, and he doesn't make his move, and it
Yeah.
kind of makes me think that he's just oblivious to all this regular stuff, because he's too busy thinking about this big picture, which makes him make these bad choices.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'll work with this little demon in a Russian girl's body because I'm making this choice because I'm not thinking about the big picture.
Which wow, they actually I wasn't actually expecting him in this arc to do the Varvra getting put in the bottle thing, or vat, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that was the last issue, right?
Yeah. I was not expecting it to all go there so quickly. which is cool. I'm a little sad that Varvara's not going to be showing up anymore because I fucking love that character. But
But I mean, she'll have to have some background. I mean,
yeah.
this because we're only in the 50s. We have all of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know what I mean? There has to be more than just the short story.
Oh my god, this series is going to go forever. Hellboy and the BPRD is never going to end, except for when it actually ends. But
Right.
which would be whenever BPRD starts.
Right. Yeah,
um,
but that's there's so much to cover. So she's got to show up again because Iosif, he's still at this point underwater. So he hasn't even come back yet because he's like in that sunken submarine still.
right.
So
I mean, she's probably going to be staying in the jar, but like,
yeah,
I'm
but she'll
assuming they'll be
back.
talking to her. Yeah. I don't know.
She is a monster,
I am
literally.
Yeah. It's like my favorite thing. Even though now they kind of gave her a backstory, but like back in the old days when all her backstory was she was the devil come to Earth, and the devil decided that she likes being a little girl who drinks vodka and plays with stuffed animals. Is like the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, the what was it, 1946?
Yeah.
When she's like, "Oh no, I'll interrogate her," and she walks in, she walks back out, she's just covered in blood.
Right. Yeah, that's like
Oh,
the coolest thing.
that's so disgusting, so demented.
Yeah. Or when she's like running around playing with her doll in that issue, and or in that book, and she runs up to one of the soldiers, is just starts chanting like this Satan shit at him. And he just turns to Brew and is like, I don't want to be around her anymore.
Yeah, like, nope, I'm out of here.
I'm good.
Yeah. But that's this last page where where Susan Jang just straight up tells Broom what a dick he is.
Yeah. And Broom's just kind of like, I can't talk about it, even though he really could. I think Broom totally could talk about it. Really, all he's doing is kind of like he's confused with his own feelings as to why he even cares about Varvara or anything like that. Because there isn't really anything keeping him from telling her this information, aside from just him being confused as to what he is as a person.
I think he's ashamed. I think he's just ashamed of what he's doing, how he's using this monster for his short-term goals when he's, and not thinking about the big picture of what he's doing. I mean, he's literally selling his soul.
Right. And there's something I've always loved about Broom's character is that whether or not it's a good or bad thing, he always has a tendency towards liking these monster characters. Like he likes Hellboy, which is a good thing, but he also likes Varvara for the same reason.
Right.
Which Varvara is like the antithesis of Hellboy. But
she's all demon all the time.
Right. And so I feel like he'll always prefer like siding with these characters, even if they're good or bad, because to him it's just kind of like a natural impulse. I think it confuses him a bit. But I also think he feels like a dick because he is a dick.
He is. He's absolutely like, it really just trashed my whole perception of him. Like I said, the same thing with Professor X. Now, like all of a sudden they were like, yeah, he's a dick. Everything's his fault. And now you're looking at Broom the same way. Like, there's so much that's going to happen because of these bad choices.
Right. I mean, I love that character. He's just like, there's so much you could talk about with Broom.
Yeah.
And Shang's kind of getting there too, where she's just I think she's starting to get a bit jaded too. Now that she has like the gray thing in her hair.
The gray streak.
Yeah, which I think is just kind of like, a visual representation of her character sort of not wanting to take shit anymore. I think shit's about to really go down.
Yeah, I mean that's. I hope they don't get rid of her too quickly. I hope she lasts a lot longer.
Oh no, I think Shang is going to last for a while. I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, I think she's going to die at some point, but I don't think she's going to get like axed off or anything like that. I think she's just going to die.
People in this book now that I'm just so invested in, and it's amazing that it takes place in the past. Like we're already saying goodbye to all these characters that that have come in the present going forward. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now we have to look back to these people and mourn the deaths of people who are dead for decades at this point. But we're getting attached to all new characters that we know are not going to be around.
Oh yeah. And
it's not even a spoiler. We know that they're not around because we haven't seen them.
Like a lot of characters in this universe, there's so many characters that we get exposed to, a lot of them like at the point of their death, like the Visitor, stuff like that. And then we already know that they're going to die, and then we have to go back and read a whole book about them and get attached to them.
Right. It's like this, it's a reverse mourning. It's terrible.
Yeah. It's such a depressing aspect of Hellboy.
I gotta have a talk with Mike.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Mignola, we need to have a talk about this.
Well, I think is a good time too to go take a look at our next series that just wrapped up, Crimson Lotus. I'll say off the bat, I read like the first half of it and then just skimmed the last bit of it because I wasn't caught up to kind of talk about it briefly. And I don't know if I'm gonna have a ton to say about it. I know you have some stuff you want to say, but it's. I thought from the issues I've read of it, it was pretty cool. I liked it. I didn't really get attached to the characters very much in it, but I thought the artwork was really nice. And I liked seeing the Crimson Lotus, who was pretty cool. Although I thought it kind of started a bit like, I don't know, it was a little bit of I don't want to say a slog, but I just didn't relate with anybody in it.
I gotta say, I've read the whole thing, and the first issue had so much promise to me. The art, I agree with you. I love the art. The opening with Rasputin coming to this little town, getting the idol, like that was all really cool. Oh, and when he squishes that guy with his mind, with his little mouth, like all that was cool. And then they start bringing in the spy and the espionage, and we know that from what we've read that she was a spy working for the Empire of Japan. But here they're in China, right? Because this is when Japan was overseeing China.
Right.
And there's just there's some like espionage, some intrigue, but there's nothing that really pulls me in. I could barely remember some of the characters, even the main character's name. I know there was Dai, but I don't know. I don't really remember these people, and I've read it more than once, trying to put it together. I mean, at least we get to see the origins of the monkeys with the mask on.
Right, that was actually awesome. I think, and this isn't just a problem that applies to this book alone. I think a lot of the other, like the spin-offs, like Rise of the Black Flame, stuff like that are 5-issue stories with all their own characters. Where they try to set them all up in one issue or in one book, and then by the end of it, we don't even really remember who they are.
Right.
Like, that's just kind of an issue with the format. I kind of wish they would rely a bit more on characters that already are established for these types of books. Although it kind of, from what I remember, the ending to Crimson Lotus, they kind of left it open a little bit in that they could continue it off with something else.
Right, because Rise of the Black Flame kind of leads directly into Sledgehammer 44.
Right.
So at least there's an avenue for it. So maybe they'll either continue this and give us more of an idea about the actual Crimson, because this is all pre-World War II.
Right,
the Crimson Lotus series. So, and she was a big name in World War II. There was all those other superpowered guys, and even like the Torch of Liberty, but I don't think they're going to bring back
I don't
Torch of Liberty.
I don't know if that would be cool if they did something with Torch of Liberty, but I don't think we're going to be seeing that character for a while. That was kind of like that was more John Byrne's thing, from what I understand, right?
Yeah, that was John. That was his character, but like just all those. What was that other guy's name? He was when Johan was looking through the book with the history of all these World War II superpowered war criminals, and it would be nice to see them like kind of explore them and kind of mesh them together in one story. Bring them in.
That's like, even though Hellboy has done some stuff like like with Japan and China, it still hasn't done a ton. Like, there's been so many off the cuff references. Like, for instance, there's a whole thing where I can't even remember what it's called. The thing that caused Johan's body to get destroyed. What was that case or that incident called?
Qingdao.
Yeah, and they haven't even really explored that much, other than like some talk about it. There's so much that I want them to do over there that they haven't even really talked about. And so that was kind of what I was excited about getting into Crimson Lotus. And really, it did some stuff, but it hasn't really delivered a ton on it.
It definitely has not paid off as much as I would have liked.
It was like, it's not a bad book. It's just kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
I want that world of Hellboy, or that part of the Hellboy world, to be filled out more. It's just, we really haven't gotten a ton of it. I know
was all Arcudi, right? This one was Arcudi.
And I don't even know what's going on with that anymore. We probably, I'm sure you guys have heard that stuff. So I don't know what's going on with that. But like,
because he created her essentially.
Yeah, he did. He created her. He's pretty much written everything with the Crimson Lotus in it.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to see, I'd actually like to see some more people from like China or Japan writing more Mignolaverse books too. So I'd like to actually get a creator in that writes that kind of stuff.
Right.
Rather than John Arcudi, who I love John Arcudi, but he's just like a white dude.
yeah. I mean, and that doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't devalue it or anything, but like, I
want to get a different perspective.
Right, exactly. So it would be cool to like flesh out the universe with actual people from that heritage coming in to talk about it.
They may have more. They may have. They'll definitely have more. If they're from an area, they can put their personal expertise of knowing the area. That's what was the big Marvel thing. Like, they were all from New York, so no one could write New York the way a New Yorker can.
Exactly.
So it's a unique perspective. You got your pizzerias, you know what I mean?
Right.
That they would put all their little Easter eggs in there of stuff that they knew from the neighborhood, and that people that are also from there would also get.
Right. Exactly.
Paint that exact picture. So I'd like to get a perspective.
Yeah. And I did like Crimson Lotus. I mean, the artwork is just so cool. There's kind of I especially like in this first part where you see Rasputin, it reminds me so much of have you watched Nosferatu, the original one, or like the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, the expressionist kind of stuff?
I mean, I don't know how old you are, my child. No, but a very, very long time ago.
Yeah.
It has. Well, I've been wanting to actually go back and watch some of those things. I actually just watched Rasputin, the Mad Monk from 1966. I'm trying to look up all the little pop culture Rasputin references. But yeah, so I want to go back and watch some of these things. But yes, continue. I start.
But like that old kind of like German expressionist kind of style. It's just so creepy looking. Like
M. Ooh.
Yeah, crushing that guy with his mind powers.
But I love the way that they, and this is not bald Rasputin. This is classic Rasputin.
Right.
With the crazy eyes and the crazy hair.
Oh yeah. Man, Rasputin's always been a creepy character, but in like the past 4 years or so, they've really amped up on his creepiness. Like not just with Voice of the Dragon and stuff like that, but like for instance, in the recent Devil You Know stuff, they've really been ratcheting like his evilness up to like by 20.
Yeah, he's a cackling bad guy right now. He's cackling mad.
And before he was always just kind of like, I'm gonna cast my magic voodoo on you. But recently he's just been like, just pure evil. Like, holy crap.
Yep. But I mean, it's not like he ever hid it. He was always like, I want.
Oh yeah,
we should start talking about this Devil You Know stuff now, because
I want to talk about Devil You Know so bad.
he just wants to kill everything. Like he is, you know what he is? He's like angry internet troll of the world. He's mad at the world because these guys beat him, these bullies beat him up and killed him and threw him in the river, and now he wants to punish the entire world for it.
Yeah, I love that now. They're putting so much emphasis on the fact that he became something that he didn't know he was going to become. And he just seems so like pissed off about it. Like, I'm a giant snake dragon monster now.
Right.
Fuck this.
He's so pissed. Oh man, this issue.
Yeah.
This last issue of The Devil You Know.
It's let me pick it up really quick so I can kind of look at it. That issue.
Even thinking about the issues before where we were talking about loss, like when you think about these characters that have been in so many things and just watching them die so quickly, it just, I guess that makes it a little more realistic because no one's going to have like this beautiful, epic, poetic death. People are going to die unceremoniously, but to see so many people.
What's his name? What's his name got a poetic death? Crap, what's his name? Crazy guy. O'Donnell. O'Donnell got
the poetic death.
Yeah, O'Donnell martyred himself, and I was just like, yes! No, but
hands up in the air, he's like, I got this. You know what I mean? Like, he got the poetic, epic death.
He deserved it. He deserved that poetic, epic death.
Yeah, he deserved to, we went out like a champ, but like, even characters are like, I didn't even think were cool because I never even thought about them, like Staz. Like, she was like this nobody character that ended up becoming almost like the director of the BPRD by default.
Yeah, really.
And it's just wiped out instantly. And Nichols, I wrote that whole big thing about Nichols because I was noticing, I didn't think about it because he was like a smaller character. But then you realize he's in so much that I was able to write that whole character bio on him because he's been in so much. And then he just dies off page. Like, he dies off camera. And
Dude,
I was like, what?
Even, like, Abe, even though he does kind of do some stuff, like, his death has a point, he's killed pretty much, like, he doesn't even do anything against Rasputin. Rasputin just kind of...
like, hey, bud.
Well, granted,
dead.
Is he... We don't know if he's definitely dead, but I'm like, he seems pretty dead to me.
He seems pretty wrecked,
Yeah, like, I'm...
He's just like, punch. He's like, look, he flies in the air. I love it. He's like, he flies in the air, and he's just like, hey, guys, snap. I was like, oh, come on. It's so cheap.
I was so... Like, I just could not believe they did that immediately. I really thought Liz was dead for a second, too, even though then I was like, wait a second. She can't be dead. She has to do stuff still. But,
yeah. What is she going to do? That's the question, right?
I think, obviously, the big one is Howard's. That death was just nuts. Granted...
Is he dead, though?
Like, I don't know. They killed him in a very, like, oh, no, he's dead. They never use... They never used the red panel cut for anything in this.
Right. We know that's kind of like, you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
So when Stannis Baratheon, I just refused to accept it because I didn't see it happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? I refused to accept it for like the entire time while I was waiting. I feel like even into the half of the next season, I was like, nah, there's no way. And then they were like, oh yeah, no, he's totally gone. I was like, how?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like here. I'm like, no, I didn't see it happen, so it didn't happen. Who knows? Maybe even Nichols might still be alive.
Right. I don't... It's just so... Technically, like... no, not really. That's... I don't even know what I'm thinking anymore. Like, there's just so many questions. How are they going to wrap this all up in one issue? There's no way.
Is it going to be an oversized issue? Is it going to be all the stuff? I mean, thinking about what we have here, right? So he just... Hellboy is dead? I don't know. Like, first of all, Liz burns Rasputin to a husk, and then Rasputin just comes right back.
Yeah.
And then what happens with Hellboy? Hellboy gets into a fight with him and snaps his neck with his
left
regular hand.
Yeah.
With his left hand, not even the right hand to do.
Which is
right. The right hand is on the floor, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's like one of the coolest moments of like poetry in a way, where like obviously his right hand's going to be important like next issue, but right now, like his left hand was more important than his right hand, which is kind of
it's like his human hand almost.
Yeah. And like I don't even know, like Hellboy's two people right now, So I don't know if it's saying that. I don't know if this is just that it being poetic, or like if literally what came back from the dead was actually just Anungan Rama, and then Hellboy himself has been dead the whole time.
Yeah, because I mean, he's technically in Roger's body.
Yeah, but like
Like,
he still has all of Hellboy's memories going through this whole thing. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going on.
but you know, I mean, the one thing about this is, ever since he came back, he's been 10 times quieter than he normally would be.
Yeah.
Like, no reminiscing, no like, hey, how you guys doing? Like, no humor, none of his like trademark like snarkiness.
Yeah, like that's
Is that
kind of
him?
like, you know, in Marvel Comics, the whole running gag of like, you know, shit's going down when Captain America's shield breaks or something like that. I feel like for Hellboy, you know, shit's going down when he's not making his witty banter or anything like that, because that's is sort of iconic for him.
Right.
So, and you could tell I think he just, or at least originally, I was just attributing it. I can't speak. Attributing it to him wanting to be dead still, that he was at peace. But now I'm kind of wondering, like, maybe it was actually because it wasn't him the whole time. I don't know. He still has his arm ripped off, so I don't even know.
Like, yeah, even his ghost self. But if you look at it, like his corpse body, right, bleeding, jagged, but he has his horns, and his skin color is just like the purplish color. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's dead. His ghost has no horns. Doesn't have the arm either, but the ghost has no horn.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maybe this is the him that he sees himself as, versus maybe that, you know how like they say like, oh, this is a part of the Agdru Jihad, a piece of their spirit. Maybe that was just a tiny piece of Hellboy.
Right.
I don't know. But
I mean, it's also
that,
from a narrative perspective, it's also serving to like, you know, the character itself is like, oh, he finally separated his destiny from his human self. So like from that perspective, it makes sense to me. It's like from what actually is happening, I don't even know. Granted, I don't know if it needs to even make sense anymore, considering the world's ending. Like, we're kind of at a point where, you know, kind of like in Hell, how like time doesn't work the same way as it does on Earth. Like, right. We're getting to a point where Earth, like the reality just doesn't work the same way. So just crap's just kind of happening now.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of crap happening, I mean, they got through that tunnel, and who's on the other side?
Oh my
Frankenstein.
God. That was just a brief moment of so much happiness in my heart seeing that. Then immediately back to death and bloodshed, but
I mean, Frankenstein, and this little girl, like, is she just the next in line of Hyperborean priests, or she? I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his name right. Shanshin, like that's the priest that we see with the beard that's been throughout the whole series. Is she like his spirit resurrect? Is there like a lot of resurrection happening here, or is she just? I got to reread the Ape Sapien series to try to get.
I can't answer that because frankly, your brain holds way more of this than mine does. I'm like so lost half the time.
Doing this stuff, I've been walking around with 3 different. Like, I have my girlfriend's tablet and my tablet with all these loaded on it, plus my phone.
Yeah.
And then the Hellboy guide and like a notebook, because I've been trying to keep track of all this in my head just for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have to reread Ape Sapien.
You're doing a real good job of it, man.
Dude, my brain holds nothing else. It's like that Married with Children episode where Kelly Bundy could only retain so much information, but then after that, she'd forget things like her name and her address.
Yeah.
She maximized her capacity. She could learn anything there is in humanity. She could learn all of the knowledge in the world, but only a certain amount. That's where I am right now. My brain is full of Hellboy, and I can't remember anything else.
I don't even know. Like, God, this last page just is incredible. Like, so much stuff. It just, it drives my brain insane. How much are we? I need answers.
4 panels, man. 4 panels in this last page.
It reminds me so much. I know you said you haven't seen End of Evangelion, but it reminds me so much of that. For anybody who knows Evangelion, it's a similar case where the world ends, and they're just kind of staring off into the destruction of the world. I just don't even know. I know. What's his name? Lawrence Campbell. Oh no, that wasn't Campbell who drew that. That was Fumara who did the. Crap, I'm just rambling at this point. I'm looking right at the cover right now. The Fumara cover where it's Akira, the Akira reference. But
Okay.
I'm just kind of rambling. So if you have no idea what I'm saying, that's totally understandable.
No. You're talking about the Max Fumara cover art to the book.
Yeah, the one he did where Hellboy is sitting on that throne with the red cape behind him. It's
the Black Flames throne.
10, I think. Yeah, that's a reference to Akira. He even talked about it on Twitter a little bit, which was just so cool to me because I love that movie. But
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just pulling it up right now to look at it.
yeah.
Oh, is that what that whole red cape, the whole red? Okay, I could see what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a nod to Akira. It's not exactly the same, but enough to be a nod. Yeah.
Enough that you pick. Now that you've said it, I can pick up on it.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I can't believe the apocalypse is finally happening, man.
And that's the thing. I have so many questions. Like, who's standing right now? Like everyone else we know is either dead or I don't know who's left. It's Phoenix and Connor, right? That's Gioracco's kid.
Yeah, but even then, like they're in another. Is this new Hyperborean place or whatever? Is that even like on Earth? Like it kind of seems like it's almost in like another dimension of some sorts.
Yeah,
like,
I have no idea.
So really on Earth, all we have right now, we just pretty much have Hellboy, Edward Grey kinda, even though he's just kind of, he's not a ghost, but like he's not really there. And then Liz, but I guess Edward Grey is there, I'm assuming.
As much as Hellboy is.
Yeah. Like
Hellboy's dead.
I don't know if you saw like in that first issue of Seed, where everybody just kind of assumed it was Rasputin holding up Hellboy's hand. But if you look at it, it's actually Edward Grey holding up his hand. So I don't know what's going on. Like,
that's right, because we still haven't seen this.
Yeah. So Edward Grey's going to do something. Huh?
I said, I just realized that just hit me looking at these buildings in the background because that's what he's standing on when he's holding it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just
and it's dripping blood.
Yeah. So what was going to happen? And I'm assuming Edward Grey's going to do something to try to like restore the Earth, maybe. But he could also like he just wants to die at this point. So I don't know. He could be doing something for Hecate that's just going to kind of bring everything to an end. I don't even know.
which I think we were talking about in our chat that I'm confused about Liz being the last person standing, like actually alive, and like Memnon Sa thought that she was the resurrection of, I'm going to say it wrong, Heka MM Ra, who became Hecate when she got her snake body. So is Liz like, is she, and now she's got all this power of this fire, is she holding in the spirit of Heka MM Ra, and she's going to be there at the end with Hellboy, and he has that, like, is that what's happening? I don't know. There's so much stuff that can change between now. I don't know. I'm freaking out.
Yeah, I like, part of me wants to like make some predictions, but I can't. There's just no way. Too many loose ends.
I know. The only thing I can predict is that in the cover of the last issue, Hellboy standing on a burning, flaming Earth.
Yeah, and I like how clever they were. Like, he still has his arm on, but I think that's just because they didn't want to spoil that. He would get it ripped off in this issue.
Even the arm is different. Like, even the arm, like, it's got flames coming out of it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
On the side. It is completely red, whereas the rest of his body is like this. It's in shadow. It's got the flame of it. He's got the flame above his head. So what is that?
Yeah, kind of like
that. You know?
That was like, after you brought it up to me, looking back at all the people that have flames above their head, it kind of I always just kind of thought of it as being like, oh, cool, they have a flame above their head, but there might actually be some sort of correlation between that as to what that means, like something to do with the dragon, the Order Jihad. But I'm not smart enough to know that.
Yeah, I think they. Oh man, I think it was in. I think it was in the Storm and the Fury, where what's her face, Nimue, where she's bugging out because she starts like turning into the dragon,
Right.
and I feel like that witch that's with her, who's like won't shut up. I'm sitting there thinking like Nimue must be just like shut up.
Yeah.
Tells her that like she is now the dragon's chosen one. I'm trying to find that page. She says she's the dragon's chosen one, and then they show this picture of everyone else that wields. I don't know where to even find that page because I have the omnibus
Was
digital edition.
Did no. I know briefly in Hellboy and Hell they even kind of reflect on that page too, because I just kind of not fully read through Hellboy and Hell, but did enough to refresh myself on what happened in it, in air quotes, because that book is very difficult to parse in your brain.
Well, yeah, that is a heavy book.
Yeah, it is.
Pull this through. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Do you have the omnibus? Because it is page 431 of the omnibus, where it shows. Who's this guy? Oh, this was the Miracle Boy, right? So
Right.
the Miracle Boy from B.P.R.D, right? Memnon Sa, Rasputin, the Black Flame, and then at the top of all of it is Heka Emimra. At the top of all of that has the flame above her head. That's why I think there's got to be some sort of tie-in.
I got my trade paperback right here, so I'm just kind of flipping through.
Actually, even the witch that's busting her chops has that flame above her head right now. So is it because these are people who are speaking for the dragon?
Yeah, I think that's the idea. Even the dragon. No, well, actually, wait, hold on a second. Even the actual dragon. Well, that's just fire. That's normal fire. Never mind.
No, but yeah, but when in BPRD and Hell on Earth,
Yeah.
when the Ogdru Jihad, the actual dragon itself, lands on Earth, it's got that flame above its head, not just coming out of its mouth, but it's just floating above its head.
In Rasputin, Voice of the Dragon, did he have something like that too over his head? I mean, I feel like Rasputin's just had the flame above his head at some point. But yeah, and I know in terms of like biblical stuff, whenever that happens in there, that means they are a prophet of God.
Right.
So I'm assuming that is something relative to them being like a prophet of the dragon, but I'm wondering if there's even more meaning to it, exactly what they are of like.
Because it's got to be the wielder of Vril energy, I guess, right? Because that's part of the.
Oh man, Vril energy.
But that's a positive outlook on the Vril energy.
Yeah.
Like Vril's supposed to be, I guess, from God, where all these other people are using it for the dragon.
God, I can't even talk about Vril energy because I just don't even know how to explain that.
Well, here's the other question. Let me blow your mind now. What about? Am I going to say her name right? Estragal. Estragal is basically the embodiment of darkness, and that's who the Ogdru Jihad get their power from.
Oh,
they're not
all right, yeah,
the most powerful. And that's what they would. I forgot who it was that was theorizing that the Black Flame is just a sliver of Estragal, like embodying a person on Earth. That's why they're like flame, but also dark as night, because she's like the queen of the darkness between worlds, or whatever it is. Like, what is that going to come into play? Are we going to see God in this last issue?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Seeing, oh man, that brain. Yeah, maybe.
Because God is mentioned, like God created the angels and the earth and said, "Hey, your watchers, watch over the earth, make sure nothing fucked up happens." Excuse me, remember to bleep these out. But make sure nothing bad happens. And then the angels screwed up and made the bad thing happen. God was pissed. They specifically say God. And then the dragon took the embodiment of the power from the embodiment of darkness. Estragal, I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but right. Yeah, she's the queen of all darkness. So like, is she going to show up? Is God going to show up? Are they going to be like, this is my theory. This is my theory for the end. This is my theory. Ready? We're going to find out that they had a bad breakup, God and Ereshkigal,
Oh my God.
and God's going to be like, yo, I'm so, like, she got so mad that she's literally burning everything down. She's destroying everything that he made, and he's going to come and be like, yo, I'm sorry. I was wrong. You were right. Forgive me. And then she's going to cheer up and, fix everything.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds right. Bad breakup, you know.
Bad breakup, which it was his fault. It's 100% his fault. And she is going to maybe forgive him or be like, you know what? We were toxic for each other. We were bad for each other. I'm moving on. You can have your little playthings back.
That's another point too, that like in this universe, we've only ever seen hell and we've never seen heaven at all. Like
You've never seen anything good.
we've seen I think it's the peyote afterlife very briefly in Witchfinder Lost and Gone Forever. But other than that, like we've never seen like any sign of like a heaven or anything like that. So
Nope.
what the hell even it is like, so if something like that happened, it would make sense.
Is heaven becoming one with infinity? Like, is that what?
Oh my God, don't say that, my brain.
No, because think about Johann. Remember when Johann was in the Sledgehammer 44 suit and he's talking to the ghost whose name I'm not going to remember right now.
Yeah.
And the ghost, he's like, none of this matters. He's like, just let go, join me in infinity. And then Johann's like, no. I'm going to use that infinity, yo. I'm going to use that infinity to smoke this dragon. Just like the guy before him. He was like, I'm out of here. I'm piecing out to infinity. What are you doing? Stop shooting these German guys. Just let go. You know what I mean? So is that heaven? Is that voice out there God? Those two eyes in the cosmos? Is that God? I don't know. We're not going to know. I don't think we're ever going to know. I think Mike Mignola is going to like he's going to Sopranos ending us.
I don't even know if Mike Mignola's thought it out that much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he necessarily has like a hard writing on like God and heaven and stuff like that. I think it's just kind of more like, I think some of it's planned out, but I think we're getting into territory that no human beings even thought about.
Someone's had to have thought about it.
That's true.
I mean, think about it. I mean, what kind of world is it where everything sucks? Like, if you think about it, like, everything is monsters and Nazis, and I mean, like, I'm not disparaging like the creation. I love this world that we're in, but like, imagine inhabiting that world. We're like, oh yeah, there's werewolves and there's ghosts and there's monsters and there's devils and Krampus and there's all these horrible things. Like, what's the point of being alive in that world if there's nothing good? And we haven't seen anything good happen. Even that last issue of Devil You Know, where they actually have the priest preaching, in front of that mega church. Like, yeah, no, this is Armageddon. We're all going to heaven. Like, are they? Maybe they are. Maybe that's what we're going to find out. Like, what's going on? Where's all the happy stuff?
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
That's a lot to think about. That's too much to think about.
It's a lot. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about this issue 15, man.
Well, so am I. That's what I'm saying. Like, what's going on with issue 15?
Are
we going to see it all? What are we going to see?
I don't know if we're going to see it all, but I definitely think we're going to see some shit.
Yeah, that's all we know.
Yeah.
I'm okay with an ending. Things need to end.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, granted, I kind of wish there were a few more issues to kind of wrap things up a little bit, but like overall,
clearly there's questions, right?
Oh yeah. But like a lot of those questions, I'm sure they're going to answer in like prequels and stuff like that too. So, but like, I don't even know. We haven't even talked about how the Osiris Club is there and everything, and what are they waiting for?
Oh my God, yeah, I forgot about the Osiris Club.
Yeah,
that old lady's like, yeah, this is what we all wanted, and the guy's like, what?
And I'm assuming, I think they're waiting for Liz to transform into Hecate Memnon-Ra. Is that it?
Hecate Memnon-Ra?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce this stuff.
Or they're just kind of waiting to be like, Edward Grey, You suck.
No. It's at the end, and you still haven't caught us, have you, Edward? You know?
Yeah, Heliopic Brotherhood of Ra, away.
Yeah, I don't know. Or they could just be like, "Ha! Told you we were right the whole time." Dead. They just want it to be right. They just want to have the last word.
Right. I don't know. But yeah, that I can't. How long is it now till that comes out? It comes out. It comes out the week after the movie comes out, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
way to steamroll us emotionally. It's like you got Hellboy Day, then 2 weeks later you have the Hellboy movie, and then 2 weeks later, the end.
Which is such a weird time to start the new movie. What if the world ends in a way where like it starts off from the beginning again, and then the new movie is actually the continuity after the end of the world?
I would watch that.
Yeah.
It's almost like The Leftovers. You ever see The Leftovers? It's kind of like that.
Oh yeah.
Coping with the end of the world.
Oh man. Speaking of which, we're gonna be getting like they're already talking about like a BPRD TV series and stuff. I'm like, oh god, there's gonna be so much Hellboy stuff coming up.
I really should probably talk about this movie. I think I'm gonna really enjoy it. I just hope it does really well with you.
I think it's gonna do pretty good. I don't really care about like the critical reviews so much because I've started to stop caring about that.
Oh yeah.
But like from a financial standpoint, I think it'll do fine. Excuse me. I already see people talking about it. There's like all these video game deals going on right now, like but just random ones. Like they're having Hellboy DLC in Minesweeper. I don't know.
Yeah, like Brawlhalla. I might actually play it now.
Yeah, same.
Brawlhalla.
I already installed it on my Nintendo Switch, and I'm gonna play it soon.
I forget the other one. The other one's a puzzle game.
Which is strange. I mean, my dream video game is a Hellboy fighting game, and I have so much plans in my heart for that dream game.
You've played Injustice, I hope.
Yeah. I have Injustice too. I suck at it.
So much fun.
Huh?
I suck. I don't own any fighting games. I don't play any fighting games. But I started playing that one, and I became addicted to it. Forget about Hellboy. I just started using Starfire. But yeah, the Hellboy. It just looks so amazing, and he's got all that snarky attitude.
Yeah. I'm just that was awesome. I remember waking up one morning, whatever morning that was announced. Was that on? That wasn't Free Comic Book Day, I think. But I woke up and just ran out to my friend screaming, who was out in waiting for me in his car because he was giving me a ride. And then like I saw it as I was walking out, and I went, "Oh my god!" And he's like, what? And I was just showing him the picture of it on my phone. He was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, too, because what's his special move? Falling through the floor, which is what he does in, like, every third issue of Hellboy.
Yeah.
He falls to some floor.
And I don't know if this is true, but I think the medallion he's holding, because technically he's not in his underworld, he's in the DC underworld. So his medallion's actually, like a DC style sort of medallion that allows him to get into the underworld, which is just a great touch.
Actually, if you look at it, it looks a lot like hold on, because I have the physical version right in front of me.
Or was it a medallion looks like a totem or something? I can't remember.
Look at it again, freeze frame it if you can, and it looks like Agrippa's charm.
Oh yeah.
The one that he uses to beat up that dog, that giant dog in that first like that gas issue. If you look at it, go to the game, go watch the video game or whatever thing on YouTube or something, like freeze frame it.
Yeah.
I think it's Agrippa's charm, which is weird because he's not fighting an animal. But then again, I could be wrong. I would like a second opinion on it.
Let me see. Injustice.
How would you like your drink?
Injustice. Let's see. Hold up, I gotta. There's a super.
I really hope
that
Skeleton Crew puts out the Ring of the Order of the Fly because so many people requested it.
Yeah. I mean, I want them to make everything. The Skeleton Crew is my favorite, man. I liked them before we were even working with them on the website, so.
Oh yeah, no, I've had these since before I started talking. I got the Bell. That was like my big waiting one. Like I'm waiting on that Acorn.
The acorn, right? Oh man.
My so my friends all know that I'm obsessed, obviously, and I just get tagged in literally everything on Instagram and Twitter and whatever. But actually, someone I know reached out to me because they went to Emerald City Comic Con, and apparently the Saturday badges, some of them had Hellboy on it, and they sent me the badge. So now I just have more to add to my room full of crap.
That you just saying Instagram too reminded me. Sasha Lane, you said, is a big fan of our stuff on Instagram, right?
Yeah, she's liked and reposted a few of our things. Douglas Tate, who plays, oh my God, Grugach?
Yeah, I think it's
I'm never
Grugok,
going to
right?
know how to say it. Grugach?
Grugok,
I
I
have no
think.
idea.
That's how I say
Yeah,
Grugok.
yeah, he regularly likes and reposts our stuff. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, nothing from David Harbour yet, but and what's his name? Doug Jones, the classic Abe Sapien.
Oh man, that's
He's
awesome.
also liked a few of our things. Yeah,
That's cool.
so it's
Hey,
been
shout
fun.
outs to
Which I'm
you.
also I'm running a contest there that ends tomorrow, so I guess it's pointless. But I'm gonna be doing another contest soon for. I guess I should tell you now. I have another contest because I got a Hellboy movie poster that we jumped from 300 users to over 400 in like a week. So I think
Of
we should probably once we get to 500, I'm gonna
raffle that off.
do another contest for the movie.
That's yeah, absolutely. That's super cool. I gotta get on Instagram, man. Like because that Instagram has been going just so much success on that. I really want to like start seeing what we're posting because I never get to see it because I don't use Instagram.
Oh, it's what the thing I like about it is it's fun because you get to interact with a lot of people. I'm making friends in, that's why I found out about the Czech Republic. The guy just hit me up on Instagram. We were like chatting for like 2 hours about Hellboy. You know,
Yeah, it's just yeah. Sorry, but I just got like thrown off quick by my friend who's like spamming me with text right now.
I think you can edit this audio.
Yeah.
Actually, that other podcast that I love so much, the Aw Crap. I love that they leave all of their mistakes and misspellings and mispronunciations. I mean, and they leave that all in, and that cracks me up.
Yeah, all crap's great. I mean I love them. I love Hellboy Book Club. I know
Oh yeah,
I'm not caught up on them, but I know they're doing Witchfinder Lost and Gone Forever right now, which is my
yep.
shit.
That is your shit. That's your boy.
That's my shit. That's my boy.
Oh man, so the BPRD global website. I wonder if that anonymous person is
Edward Gray.
your boy Edward Gray.
I mean
That would be
that
fantastic.
they already kind of hinted that they're going to be doing Hellboy in Hell if they do a Hellboy 2 or 3. They
Mm-hmm.
said to paraphrase what they said, it was like if you're familiar with the comics, you can infer where Hellboy 2 and Hellboy 3 would be going. And so I'm assuming that would be the Storm and Fury and then Hellboy in Hell or something like that.
I mean,
And
this is technically the Storm and the Fury.
yeah, I guess, but
This is the wild hunt all the way through the Storm and the Fury. So
yeah,
all those scenes of him riding dragons, either that's her telling him this is what we could be doing, or that's
kind of what they
who
already
knows.
are doing. I don't know. Like, so I'm assuming they're gonna hit Hellboy in Hell at some point. And they
Yeah,
kind of need Edward Gray to do that a little bit.
100%.
So,
Hellboy he needs his Virgil.
not to mention they put like a descendant of Lord Galerin in for the Osiris Club, even though like there's no real reason to do that. So they're setting up Witchfinder stuff, which is so weird. I really honestly thought they would set up Lobster Johnson 8 years ahead of doing anything Witchfinder related.
Right, and that's the thing. Are they just dropping like Easter eggs for us fans, or are they just dropping, or are they setting up, threads to follow?
I,
And
I
I hope it's threads.
I definitely think threads. Like Mignola has said a million times, he would love to set this up into a universe. I just don't like. I never really. Witchfinder is popular among Hellboy fans, but like, it isn't like a series that I figured would anybody would ever adapt into a movie. Like Lobster Johnson, I could see because it just kind of makes sense. BPRD for sure. BPRD is like just straight up Netflix series material and a half. But Witchfinder, I never really expected them to do anything with, so I'm pretty excited if they're doing stuff with that.
I mean, listen, that's an interest right there. I mean, Victorian era stuff. I mean, I think a few years ago, Victorian era stuff was more popular, but Victorian era stuff never goes out of fashion. People love that.
Oh yeah,
And then crossing it over with Old West, like in Lost and Gone Forever. I mean, that.
it's my favorite.
Don't scream.
I just love that. Western mixed with like Victorian stuff mixed with paranormal investigator stuff is just like the most me book ever made.
Right. Exactly. It's like crossing over so many different, not
Genres.
fandoms, but yeah, different genres.
Yeah,
That
but I don't know.
I really. By the way, we're going all over the place here, but one of these days we have to have a conversation about Eris and Utah and Lost and Gone Forever and Phoenix. Sorry, you could edit this part out if you want, but that whole possible connection is blowing my mind.
It is blowing my mind too. Although on Facebook, like there's just like the Mike Mignola's art Facebook, and Mike Mignola specifically commented on like a thing about it, and then he was saying like, I don't know anything about that personally, but that could just totally be John Arcudi setting up stuff that he wasn't aware of. So if that is something, that's John Arcudi's doing entirely. But I mean, he wrote both those books, so it's that
Right.
that definitely lends itself to it. I don't know though.
John Arcudi's mind. Oh my God.
There was even that point in Devil You Know, was it 2 issues ago? Where Eris turns to Phoenix and it says, but I'm free now. So it's kind of inferring that she got bound to her somehow.
Again,
So like I totally feel like
it's
that's a
all
thing.
connected.
Yeah.
So while I was researching Phoenix for our 52-day countdown, and I was looking into that, I'm like, all right, where was Phoenix born? Utah. Where was Eris captured or whatever? Where was Eris defeated? Utah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And then what else is in Utah? The Enklodite.
yeah, you're right. Oh
Which
my god.
like kind of has which kind of like transports spirit world stuff. You know what I mean? Like, or pan-dimensional stuff. And what does she wearing around her neck when she comes to the BPRD? An Enklodite necklace that her mom gave her from Utah.
You're right.
So I mean, there's got to be something there because our cootie mind, he probably doesn't even know. He probably doesn't even know that he's creating this because that's how his mind works.
Yeah. And even then, like, Scott Alley's probably, like, connecting all the threads together, too, because that man's brain is a database.
Oh, my God. How does he... Yeah, I don't understand how these people's minds work.
I could never keep track of this stuff.
I don't know. I don't even know if this should be in this episode of the podcast.
No, we could do this a different episode. In fact, we probably should be cutting it off soon, because my buddy's getting mad at me because I have to send him his episode footage so he can edit it. But
Perfect.
But
so where would you like to end it? I'll let you lead. You cut this whole section out.
well, I mean, I'll leave it in. I don't care. This is great. I don't give a crap. But yeah, I think we can cut it off here. We talked about everything I wanted to talk about, and frankly, anything else I just wanted to kind of add in. I'll probably have more structure to this going on in the future, and hopefully we can get everybody else on the website on. I'd like to get more guests on too. If we can talk to like literally anybody, I'll have on the show. Honestly,
Yeah.
and I'm excited. We have like the Hellboy board game coming out too, so we'll have to do something on that as well. Oh my God, there's so much to talk about in these next couple months. So we'll definitely be
We
more.
have the movie coming up.
Oh yeah,
We have the last issue coming up. We have the board game coming up. We have so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
and this.
we'll definitely be doing more of this stuff. So, but thank you everybody for watching. Make sure to read our stuff on Mignolaverse.com, our website, and also make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And yeah, if there's Alex, is there anything else you want to plug in here?
Anything else I want to plug in? Well, I got that one contest ending, so it's probably a little too late, but stay tuned for a poster giveaway, and I might maybe have a set of Hellboy Day things to give away in the near future. So there's also that. You might want to stay tuned for that.
And what's your Instagram handle again? Just a minute.
All right. So the Instagram handle is mignolaverse.com, but spelled out .dot.com.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Mignolaverse.com.
Yep. You can find the link in the webpage.
Yep, I'll link it in the YouTube channel. So
perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time.